Well, hey guys, welcome back to Let's Create with Alex Blake. I'm your host, Alex Blake, and today is a solo episode, guys. I feel like I've been having so many solo episodes lately, and I'm not mad about it. But today I have a fun topic for us. We're going to be talking about 20 things that you should never do as a photographer. And I'll be so real, most of these are coming from my own experience. So this isn't to call anybody out. I just thought it was kind of a fun topic. And honestly, it's because I had a fail this morning. And yeah, I was supposed to talk about something else on the podcast today, but I was like, nope, I had a fail and I'm going to share it. And this is like a great topic to share a fail. So without further ado, let's put our blankets on and get cozy. If you're in the car, obviously you can't do this. I'm so sorry, but maybe take a sip of your coffee if you've got a little travel mug next to you or whatever. Get comfy, get cozy. And then before we get into the actual topic, I have to tell you like my life updates, and one of them is the shoot this morning. Yikes. Okay, so first thing, big life update for me. This is like a personal life update, but my mom just moved to Charleston. I am so excited, guys. I can't even tell you. My mom and brother for the last, I don't even know now, like 5 years. My brother for the last 2 years has lived in Tampa. My mom has lived there for the last 5 years. And I've said this on the podcast before, but this is my claim to fame. My brother is in the NFL and he plays for the Bucks in Tampa. So my mom is going to be kind of splitting time and going there for on season, and then off season she'll be fully here. But I'm just super excited that she's closer to us and all the things. So I'm excited because when we moved to Charleston, Zach's family is here and I absolutely adore his family. His parents are amazing. His mom literally brought my mom flowers and cookies because she was moving here, and they all helped her move in, so sweet. But I feel there's also something so different about being able after a long work day or whatever to just go cuddle with your mom. You know what I mean? I'm literally about to be 30, a full-blown adult, but there's nothing just being at your mom's house, you know? So, and then mom, I know you're listening to this, so hi, you got a shout out. Anyway, so excited that she's here. Second life update, I feel I shared this on Instagram on my story, and so many of you guys replied that this was also a life update for you, but it is busy season, guys. Holy cow, I have been so busy. Honestly, I think I'm a little extra busy because Zach and I are about to go on a cruise in a couple weeks. So excited. I can't wait to share about it and everything. I'm so pumped. But because we're going on the cruise, and then I'm also going on a girls trip with Cassidy, Lindsay, Megan, my little friend group. But that means I'm taking extra time off in busy season. Who do I think I am being able to do that? What in the world? So now I'm crunching everything in. Typically, I'm pretty regimented on my schedule and I only do shoots on certain days, but because I'm gearing up to be gone, I'm doing multiple shoots. So literally today I have 2 shoots and I'm recording the podcast. What is happening? My life is a whirlwind. And then I also have a ton of editing, and I had some malfunctions with my softwares that I use that has never happened before. So I have a really long editing list, had the malfunctions, couldn't edit for a minute. I was on a call with IT support for something, and I'm what is literally happening? It feels everything is falling apart around me, and it's busy season and it's not supposed to happen that way. But speaking of something that fell apart, let me tell you guys about this shoot this morning. So, okay, the shoot itself was great. Let me start by saying that. It was for a brand who's an influencer. She's so sweet, so awesome. I'm so excited to edit the photos. The photos look great. The experience at the shoot was fine. It wasn't anything that was actually wrong with that. But I showed up to the shoot 30 minutes late. 30 minutes, guys. Oh my gosh, I am still like reeling about it. Like, I can't believe I did that. Okay, so let me explain what happened, because literally this has never happened to me before. But in HoneyBook, I always set up like where you can like put it on your calendar in HoneyBook, you know? And I put like the project, I put it as all day so that in my calendar I can always see it for like when I have a shoot, right? But then I also add another time in HoneyBook, and I add it for like the exact time that the shoot is so that it shows up on my calendar that way too. So I have it at the top where it says all day, but then I have it to where it's like 1 to 2 p.m. is this shoot. And the reason that I use the example 1 to 2 p.m. is because that's when I thought the shoot was today. And I've had it in my calendar for as long as we've got it booked. Like, everything has been normal or whatever since like we settled on the time. And that was a while ago that we settled on the time. And I immediately put it into HoneyBook, and it's been in my calendar since. But what I didn't know is that somehow, I don't know if it was my fault, or maybe it was a HoneyBook glitch. I don't know. You guys know I love HoneyBook, still 100% support them, but like, I don't know what happened on this one. But somehow it was in Pacific time instead of Eastern time. Yeah. So I was actually supposed to meet this girl at 10 a.m. and it was in my calendar for 1 p.m. So I happened to be at my like laptop, and I was opening my email to go email this girl and say, hey, so excited for our shoot. See you at 1 p.m. When I see that she emails me before I can email her, and she's like, hey, it's 10 a.m. I'm a little bit confused because I don't know where you are. My heart dropped, guys. I instantly got like shaky, you know, when you're like, the adrenaline just like pumps and you're like nervous and anxious and you're just like shaking. I was like, oh my gosh. So I like grabbed all my stuff. Thankfully, because I had the 2 shoots, I already had like my batteries charging and stuff. And I like grabbed all my stuff. I literally was like working on our balcony, and like I left everything there. I was like, Zach, I gotta go. You gotta pull all my stuff in for me. I grabbed my keys, grabbed my wallet, my camera bag. Thankfully, I had everything already set up in my camera bag, and I booked it to downtown. I'm like shocked that this happened still. This, like I said, never happened before, but I had to share the fail with you guys because sometimes things just happen, you know, and I don't know about the week that you are having, but clearly that's representative of the week that I'm having and how it's just crazy sometimes. But I don't want you guys to feel alone if you're having a crazy week too. Sometimes life is just kind of like that, and you can prep and you can be organized. You guys know I love prepping. I love organization. I really like to have things down to a T. And I thought I did for this one, and yet something still happened. So sometimes you can't like control the heck out of things. Sometimes things are just what they are, and life happens and you have to roll with it. So that's what I did. I was super apologetic. I called her on the way, and she was so understanding, guys, and like so sweet. And I just think like how you respond to things matters. Sometimes I feel like in anxious situations like that, we can kind of like fluff our way out of it, of like, I don't know, or like blame your way out of it, even like point fingers a little bit, but like, no, it's totally on me. And I apologize, like I said, and she was so understanding. I was only 30 minutes late. Thank the Lord that I like saw my email in the perfect timing and all the things. So all that to say, shoot was great. Photos are going to be great. Experience was fine. But that happened. So anyway, okay, all that to say, that sparked this idea of 20 things that we should never do as photographers. So I'm just gonna read them off. I like kind of made a little list, and some of them are gonna be like anxiety inducing as you hear them, but also they're kind of funny because they reminded me of little things that I did when I was like a beginner photographer that I was like, what was I thinking? But I just didn't know what I didn't know, you know? So, okay. 20 things you should never do as a photographer. Number 1, pull your SD card out without ejecting it first. Yeah, I've been victim to that one. I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't done it in years, but I used to do that all the time because I literally, this is so dumb, but I literally like didn't know how to eject it. And I guess I just never Googled it. And so I just like yanked it out every time off my computer and called it good. But thankfully it never corrupted. I don't know how. Like that was the best luck ever, because you should always eject your SD cards. Never just pull it out of the thing. I don't know if you're a beginner photographer, you're listening to this. Don't do it. If you don't know how to eject it, Google it. It's very easy. Okay. Number 2, things you should never do as a things you should never do as a photographer. Format your card before backing up. So I guess I'm on like the SD card train here, but you always, always, always want to make sure you have your photos backed up before you format it, before you delete all those pictures. We got to make sure we have a backup. So personally, I don't format cards until the photos are fully delivered. I know some people who also like buy a new SD card for every session, which I totally get. I also think might be a little bit overkill, but if you want to do that, that's totally fine to do that too. But make sure you never format your card before backing up. Okay. Something you should never do as a photographer. Bring only one battery or one memory card to a shoot. That stresses me out to think about. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, just in case something happens to your battery, just in case it dies, just in case like your second SD card runs out or your first one is like corrupted somehow because you haven't been ejecting it. Like we always want to be prepared. We always want to have things like charged. Sometimes what I'll do if like I haven't had a second to like charge it fully, like my battery, I like have a, what do you call those things? The thing that like plugs into your car, but then you can plug in something that doesn't have a car plug on it. It just has like a regular plug. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Like you have the car plug and then you put in the regular plug and then you can charge things in your car. So I have one of those and then I can put in like my charger for my camera batteries and I can even charge them on the way to a shoot just to make sure I'm good. But yeah, we always come prepared. Like we want to be like Girl Scouts out here or Boy Scouts, okay? Like always prepared. Okay, number 4, things you should never do as a photographer. Forget to clean your lens or sensor. Okay. This is one of those things where like you don't have to do it every day most likely, but like we have to do it, guys. Like we have to do this from time to time, okay? Especially if you shoot near a beach or sand. The way that sand could like do something really bad to your lens or your camera body is crazy. And we don't need all of that, okay? So, here's a good one too. I didn't write this down, but this is a little bonus one. So on the beach, because you guys know I shoot on the beach a lot, right? So I have my camera body. I have a hot shoe cover for when I don't have my flash on. Your camera likely came with it, but if you're anything like me, you lost it a long time ago, right? So I ordered more on Amazon and I have like a pack of them. It's been so helpful because like if something happens to your hot shoe right there and like the sensors or whatever get messed up, then you might not be able to use a flash. It's a very expensive thing to get it fixed, right? We don't need to deal with that. So just grab like a hot shoe cover if you're shooting anywhere near sand or like if you have high wind during the sand or whatever, because you don't want anything to like mess that up. You want to protect it. So that's another thing that we as photographers should do. Okay, so we're gonna clean our lenses. We're gonna clean our sensors. We don't need all the dust and yeah, you're gonna have to edit it all out if you don't clean it. Okay. Things we should not do as photographers. Rely solely on auto mode. No. We're gonna learn our cameras. We're gonna get on manual mode. We're gonna learn f-stop, shutter speed. We're gonna learn ISO, and we are gonna crush it. No relying on auto mode. Okay, number 6, not getting behind the scenes. Say it louder for the people in the back. It's just me talking to you guys on a camera, but we're going to say it again. Not getting behind the scenes. No. We are leaving that in the past. We are in the age of BTS. Okay. BTS is doing so well on social media right now. Get some Get some Meta Ray-Ban glasses. They're so easy. I think I got mine for like, I want to say like $250 and they have been worth every penny. I am like a cheap girly queen. I don't love to spend a ton of money on my stuff, but that has been seriously worth it because I'm just able to like pop my glasses on, I click the little button and it records videos for me and then I have content for days. If you can't afford that right now, totally fine. Get a little like camera mount that you can put in your hot shoe. And it's so great because you can literally just like click on your phone, you have your phone connected to your camera and you're able to get behind the scenes. Get behind the scenes. We're doing that as photographers. Okay, things that we are not doing as photographers. Arriving late to a shoot. We don't need to talk about my experience this morning, okay? But like, I had to throw it in here because it is important for us to hear. Obviously, this morning was like crazy for me, but I always arrive 15 minutes before the shoot. So that way, if for whatever reason there's traffic and I'm like 5 minutes late, I'm not actually 5 minutes late to the shoot. I'm 5 minutes late to my own personal call time that I've given myself. And if I'm downtown, I even try to get there like more than 15 minutes because I need to find parking too. So you have to know your area, know your town, know where you live, all the things, know like the parking situation. But definitely, we do not arrive late to a shoot. It is unprofessional, guys. We're not doing that, okay? First impressions count. Okay, number 8, overbook yourself with no breathing room. Listen. That's kind of what it feels like I did this week, if I'm so real, but I did it with a purpose, okay? This is not something that I regularly do. Like I said, I've got the cruise coming up. I have my time off with some of the girls, and because of that, I'm stacking shoots. But if you constantly stack shoots and you're really exhausted all the time, burnout is so real and it will come with a vengeance, okay? Like you don't want to be so tired in something that you love. You want something that at one point was a hobby for you to turn into your job and you still love it. You don't want it to turn into your job and then you be exhausted because you no longer love it because you're working all the time, right? Like a lot of the time we became entrepreneurs for us to be able to have breathing room in our schedule. That's something we love and enjoy, right? Especially for me, that's like a value for me. And so if I'm constantly stacking shoots and constantly having like days where I have multiple shoots, I will be exhausted. So you know your own boundaries. And if you don't, maybe it's time to like sit down and think about them for yourself a little bit. But for me and my boundaries, I know that's one. So all I'm going to say is overbook yourself, and you know what that means for you. Okay, things that we should never do as photographers: not use a contract or just not even looking at it. And yeah, I feel like a lot of us have heard like the you should be using a contract thing, but I feel like something that's always a good reminder too is that we should be looking at it. Like something that I've started doing, and there wasn't anything that like happened bad that made me start doing this. I just like started doing it. I feel like maybe when I started charging a little bit more because I'm like, I want to make sure that these people are getting their money's worth, you know, but I've started looking at exactly what my client booked before I deliver the photos, just to make sure that I'm delivering the right amount of photos, that I'm delivering any prints through Past Gallery, that they, that they pre-purchased or anything like that. And then I also look at like Honeybook's like service recap or project recap that they send before a shoot, and it tells me like exactly what my client booked, so I can see like how much time I should be spending with them. Because you don't want a client to book like a 2-hour session and you only spend an hour and a half with them or an hour, and they feel like they kind of got like gypped a little bit because they paid for a 2-hour session. You know what I mean? So we always want to look at our contract. And then also that goes back for like, yes, we want to serve our clients, but we also want to protect ourselves, right? So that's what that's what the contract is for, to be able to protect our businesses. But the other thing too is like, if a client is unhappy and is asking for a refund or something like that, before you're like, yes, absolutely, I'll give you the raws, I'll give you the refund, like before you're like really appeasing them, go back and look at what you guys signed together. Make sure you really know your contract and know what's in it, because it's super important. So anyway, things we should never do as photographers: post client photos without permission. Okay, that goes back to a contract, right? But I really wanted to put this because sometimes like people are doing this. If you're not working with a contract, especially, like people are doing this. And the other thing to think about is if you're like me and you do seniors, so you're with minors, or you're a family photographer, so you're with minors, this is like even more important. You always, always, always need permission. You need image consent before posting online, or really putting them anywhere, right? So you want to make sure that you have that by having a contract in place. Okay. Man, I was really going with the contract thing because the next one is deliver late with no communication. Okay. Obviously, we're going to deliver what it says in our contract and what they booked, right? But in the off chance that for whatever reason that isn't able to happen, communicate. Like most of the time people are super understanding, but we just have to actually communicate what's going on. Kind of like what I was saying earlier about the shoot with like where I was late because of like the time difference or whatever. Like I communicated really well with the client. And so she felt like she could be understanding and kind versus like if I just don't communicate at all and I just happen to show up 30 minutes late, how I would have showed up to the shoot, she would have probably been like angry, right? Like righteously mad, because I was 30 minutes late. And I could have explained there, but it would have made her huff and puff because she was waiting that 30 minutes without knowing where I was, what was wrong, anything, right? So it's the same thing when you're like waiting to deliver those photos, just communicate with your client. Literally just be like, hey, blah, 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 blah. They'll be ready in, whatever days, like 2 days or something like that. Or they'll be ready by tomorrow. Like just let them know, tell them they look great, all the things. But communication is key. Okay, things we should never do as photographers. Host events or major shoots without insurance. So yes, a contract, but also insurance. And this isn't something that I've talked like a ton about, and I really don't hear a lot of people talking about it, but I really think it's important. I think it's important like for like major shoots, and some people would say like any shoot at all, because obviously your company could be held liable, right? But I don't know. For me, I didn't have it for like pretty basic shoots, but when it was time, I was like, okay, I actually like need this because I want to protect myself. And you never know what could happen to your gear. You never know what could happen to people if you're having them like do a pose where they're running and then they trip and then they break their nose. I don't know, And so we always want to protect our businesses. But the other thing too is, like I said, for hosting events, like I think about photo camp. If I didn't have insurance and something happened at photo camp, I don't even want to think about it, right? So like I want to make sure to protect myself and protect the people that are with me at all times. Okay, number 3. Okay, this is a big one. Forget to sync your camera time with your second shooter's camera time. Okay, listen, I know I don't do weddings a lot, but I used to. And this was something that I found was like actually super annoying. And I never actually went and fixed it until like my last couple weddings that I did. And I totally should have, but make sure that your camera is at the right time, like the actual time that it is outside, right? And then also make sure your second shooters is at that time, because otherwise when you go to like back up the photos and then edit them, they're gonna be out of order for the timeline. And I noticed this when I would have second shooters from like different places, especially because the time zone would be different. So dang, we're talking a lot about time zones today. So okay. Okay, next one. Number 14, using cars for your clients to change. Listen, get a changing tent. If you don't have public restrooms at your like location, a lot of the time photographers will use cars to change, right? And I used to do that all the time, but it really, really stunk because I feel like the shoot would take a lot longer having to walk back to the car. And it's just an uncomfortable experience for the client to change in a car. The only time I would say that it's nice is like I live in the South, right? I live in Charleston, and it gets like really, really, really hot in the summer. So sometimes I ask clients if they would prefer to change in their car for the AC if there's not a bathroom nearby. But other than that, having a changing tent has been like chef's kiss. Like it has been a game changer for me, and I highly suggest it. I have on my Amazon storefront if you guys want to go find the exact one that I have. And then somewhere I have a video about how to fold it back up, because I know that that's where like people get a little bit nervous, is like folding their changing tent, but it's actually easy once you get the hang of it, I promise. And it's totally worth it. Okay, things we should never do as photographers. Trash talk clients. I said what I said, okay? And listen, I don't think that people mean to trash talk their clients. Like I think most people are pretty nice and they're not meaning to do this. But the reason I put this one in is because I think that like a trend on accident in our business is to make reels for other photographers. And I think that's fun, right? It creates community for us. You know, I'm big on community. I think it's funny because a lot of the time there are things we can all relate on, but we always want to be careful about what we're posting and how directly it speaks to a client that we've past had, or how directly indirectly, it speaks about clients that we could have in the future that do something like this. Like, we walk a fine line of like educating future clients and talking bad about past ones. And you never want to hurt your reputation as a professional business owner in your area because you posted a reel that was like kind of like talking bad about somebody else. You know what I mean? So, okay, food for thought. You know what I mean? Okay, number 16, give edited raws to clients. We're not doing it, okay? Unless it's like something that you are choosing to do and you're getting paid for it, then let's not do that. I think it devalues your work. It devalues the industry of photographers' work as a whole when people do that. But then also, it's hard because you never know where those photos are going to go and what like your work is going to look like. So they could edit it however they wanted, and that is your work. And as an artist, that's just not okay. You know, like it's not okay. And they most likely, your client doesn't know how to edit either. I do think the one exception to this is when you're working with another photographer. Like I know for me, it's nice, like me and my friend Preston have done like headshot swaps, right? So like we'll go to the beach and I'll take pictures of him. He takes pictures of me. And then we like know that I want those photos in my style of editing and he wants his and his. And so we're just going to swap the photos. Like that's different. But if this is like not for a photographer, it's for a brand or something like that, absolutely not. We're not doing it unless they're paying you for those raws. And you can make pretty big bank on those raws. I'm not going to lie. Okay, number 17, fail to back up your images in multiple places. Okay, this is kind of similar to like, we don't need to format our SD card before we back it up, but I want you to back it up in multiple places so that if anything ever happens to your hard drive, you are still okay. Things are still intact. You're not having to email people, give refunds to people. No. We're backing up in multiple places. Okay, things photographers should never do. Say yes to projects that don't align with your style or values. Guys, we are allowed to say no to things. If you don't want to do a shoot, if it doesn't sound fun to you, if you're already booked a lot that week, and yes, you have a free night, but you really wanted to do it, like you wanted to spend that night making cookies with your spouse or with your boyfriend or girlfriend, like make cookies with them. Don't do the shoot. Say no if it doesn't align with your style of photos or your values as a business or a person. You can't forget that you are not just a business owner, you're also a human, and you get to dictate what your values are in all of your life, not just your business. Okay, number 19, compare your journey to others on Instagram. No. We're not doing it, guys. We are not doing that. My journey is different than your journey. Your journey is different than my journey. And we're all on one, right? But like when you look to the right or to the left and you start comparing yourself to other photographers or other people in life in general, honestly, comparison is the thief of joy. That's what C.S. Lewis said. I think I said that on a past podcast, but it's so true, right? Like comparison is the thief of joy, and the joy of the Lord is my strength. And I don't think that God would want me to be looking to the right and the left and comparing myself to people, because he's like, no, I have a plan for them and I have a plan for you. And that plan might be different because the way that he's created me is different than the way he's created you. What a beautiful thing that there's so many different types of people, so many different styles, so many different visions. Like every personality is so unique and distinct, and that's an amazing thing. So I am pumped to keep watching you grow just the same way that you're pumped to keep watching me grow, and we should be pumped to watch other people grow. But if you are struggling with comparing yourself with other people online, honestly, it's okay to unfollow people. Sounds kind of harsh, but like if you need to take a break from seeing someone's content because all you are doing is comparing yourself and belittling yourself or your life in your mind, you need to take a chill pill. Like you need to pause for a second, you need to unfollow them, or you need to take a break just in general from Instagram, but create some type of boundary in your life that protects yourself from that, because we want joy in our lives, right? Like we don't want comparison to steal our joy. We're not doing that, guys. We're not. Okay. Number 20, things we should never do as photographers. Talk bad about other photographers. so good. We don't need to be talking bad about each other. We want to celebrate each other. It goes hand in hand with the one before, but like we really do want to celebrate each other. We want to celebrate our industry as a whole. We want people, our clients, to see our industry as a value worth putting their money in, right? As a value worth putting their time in. And when we devalue and like put down other photographers, it devalues our whole industry. And I've said this before, I think somebody actually said it on the podcast and then maybe I just stole it as my own, but we as photographers are coworkers. Think of each other as coworkers instead of competition. And it might be like a game changer in our community. So, okay, that was 20 things that we should never do as photographers. But yeah, I hope that these encouraged you and maybe made you laugh a little bit, but hopefully they didn't spike too much anxiety of things that you're currently doing that you shouldn't be doing. But hopefully they gave you a little list of things to work on or just reminders of how protected your business is and how awesome it is. But next week I have a guest, which is fun because like I said, I feel like I've been having a lot of solo episodes. As we talk about every week, please rate and review the podcast if it's been helpful for you. It's so helpful for me to be able to see your reviews, for you guys to be able to rate, for other people to find. It's been awesome. And then, of course, keep an eye out on the PhotoCamp Instagram for a ton of details being dropped soon, guys. It's at PhotoCamp Events on Instagram, and then my Instagram is at Alex Blake Photography. Okay, I will see you guys next Thursday. Bye.